You see RDA call out Conor McGregor. That fight is never gonna
Yeah.
happen. By
Never
the
gonna
way,
happen. Like if you're gonna
never
call
gonna
out
happen.
Connor,
He
in
just
my
made a fool out
opinion,
of himself. Honestly,
he
you
calls
know
out Connor after every one of his wins, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed, but he always calls out
that's
Connor.
just
He
like
called him out after Fiziev. Here's the thing. If you're going to call out McGregor, then you have to show that you're an entertaining fighter. Like
mhm.
for a hardcore fan, RDA is entertaining. You watch him like work to a better position, then get a finish, a submission. He's a good fighter. He's got a good skill set. He broke the record for the most time spent in the octagon ever, which is impressive. He's always going to be a guy that can be ranked. He's always going to be a guy that can beat up on guys outside of the rankings. He's a great fighter. The thing is, Conor McGregor doesn't want to just come back to fight a guy who's just got a good skill set. He wants to come back and fight a guy who's going to stand and bang with him. He wants to fight with a guy who's gonna, have a gentleman's agreement to like, listen, this is an MMA fight, but
That's
we're
right.
gonna stand and we're gonna knock each other. We're gonna see who
Almost
can
like
knock each
how
other out.
Holland and
Yeah,
yeah.
he. That's what Connor wants. Connor wants to come back to someone who the fans go crazy about. A Chandler, a Gagey, someone like that. Volkanovski, even like even a Oliveira maybe, because Oliveira is entertaining. Connor doesn't want to fight a guy who
Ooh.
is, yeah, that could be the
I
fight.
like that fight.
But that's the thing. Hold on. Like that's the thing. I think it's not necessarily that he can't fight any guy who grapples, but he wants to fight a guy who's going to stand with him and trade. And
Yeah.
and RDA, even if he does that, is like not.
Gonna shoot.
He's not that entertaining. He's never been the most entertaining fighter. Maybe in his prime he was, but right now he's too smart. And I know I can't rip someone for being too smart, but he's too smart of a fighter
To
to be
be
like,
entertaining.
making these entertaining Michael Chandler style fights. And Connor's never gonna fight a guy like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna make as much money. You want to fight a guy like Paddy Pimblett or someone who's has a banger fight. I think Connor should fight. I think he should fight Dan Hooker. I think he should fight. That'd be kind of like the Cerrone fight against a guy like Dan Hooker. I think he should fight. Gagey
Especially because
or
he got a win.
Masvidal. I'm still saying it. Him versus Masvidal is the biggest fight you can make
That is a really
out of
big
any
fight.
Connor
I
fight.
think you wait on that fight though. I think that
But
fight
why wait? Like if you wait, Masvidal's
because Connor
completely
may
washed.
lose. Because Connor may lose. That's
But
why.
Connor's gonna lose against all these guys, in my opinion.
Not.
Like
I don't
Connor
think he
may
loses against
lose against
Hooker.
all these guys.
I don't think he loses against Hooker. I don't think. I don't think he loses against.
Could.
I think you bring Hooker up to 170. I think Connor knocks him out.
I think Connor could beat Hooker.
Yeah, I think Connor smokes
But
Hooker.
that's my point. Like he could. Here's the thing, and I just want to say this about Connor. This is my biggest point, and this whenever I talk about Connor, this is in the back of my mind. I don't think of the Conor McGregor that was knocking out Alvarez. I don't think of the Conor McGregor that was even knocking out Cowboy 2 years ago. Had a good performance over Cowboy. Even that isn't the Conor in my head. The Conor in my head is the Conor that's on Instagram, smoking blunts, at the bar, drunk, shooting movies. This guy, like 65% of the time, when he is not training, okay? When Conor is in conversations with guys like Gagey, with guys like Hooker, I know that these guys need to fight to make money. Conor McGregor is fighting at the gym or sparring at the gym for fun. He loves it, but he's not as hungry, and I cannot possibly expect him to be at the same level. In my opinion, when I speak of Conor, this is a guy that every year he's getting worse, 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 and worse, and older. That's what he's smoking blunts. He's at the bar. Like he's not the same guy. So I can't, when I think about him and Dan Hooker, like back in the day, he would smoke him, but now
Yeah.
it's a little even. I have to say it.
Yeah, I think Connor's best bet would be bring someone from 155 to 70 who's never fought at 70. So I think you'd have an advantage over them because he has fought.
Yeah.
And he
I
beat
think the UFC should just let him juice up like one of these
Yeah,
baseball players in the 90s. Let him
yeah.
juice and let him fight anyone.
I want to see him versus Gaethje actually. That's the fight
Him
I
versus
want.
Gagey is the fight to
At
make, man.
170,
Seriously.
you have him fight Gaethje at 170. Gaethje's already had gassing out concerns. You make Gaethje way heavier, like the concerns go up even more. So and you make him fight in a
I
weight
don't
class he's never
understand why
fought
Conor
against.
loves
You know what I'm
170
saying?
so much. I get he's bigger, but like, isn't he more skilled at 155? Like, he doesn't have the
Like,
same power at 170, I don't think.
but the reason he likes because he doesn't want to do those weight cuts. That's why.
Fair enough.
You know what I
Fair
mean?
enough.
Like, and I think that gives him a huge advantage over these guys at 155, bringing them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he goes against Gaethje at 170, I'm picking Conor. I don't know about you, but I'm picking Conor.
I mean,
I
I could
just
see it. I could see it, but
because
like,
like
here's the issue, man. After one round, it's all downhill. Like in my
but it
opinion.
may be for Gaethje too because Gaethje at 170, he's never fought with that kind of weight. You know what I'm saying? He's
No, I
already
think
had gas cell
honestly,
concerns.
you may be right because here's the thing. Like when I looked at Connor's last few fights with Poirier, especially the rematch where he got knocked out, like Poirier is one of the best strikers in MMA. Gaethje's not even top
No, he's not close.
25
No,
and 30 in my
not
opinion.
even top 50.
He's just a brawler and he's very dangerous. He is very
He's
dangerous
got
and
power,
he's
but
he's
like
got power. He's good at what he does, but he's nowhere near the skill level of a Dustin Poirier. So like I could definitely see Conor being able to rock him, but dude, Gaethje and Ali Abdelaziz. I mean, I don't know if Ali Abdelaziz is saying it, but Gaethje keeps saying he doesn't want to fight Conor because he knows he's juicing.
when that
Like if I'm,
paycheck
that's
comes,
so stupid for Gaethje.
when
Like,
that
come on, get in the
paycheck
cage.
comes out, he'll take the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just saying that right now to make a
Do
built
you
up
think Conor
against.
even wants? Like, who did we have no idea
He
who Conor
wants to
wants
fight.
to
I
fight.
think it's Gaethje. I
The
think he wants
last
to
guy,
fight
but
Gaethje.
the last guy Conor called out was Kamaru Usman. Like this is this is a year ago. He hasn't called out anyone.
I think it's. I think he wants to fight. I think he'd want to fight
But
Gaethje. I
why
think
do you think he wants to fight Gaethje? It makes sense, but why
it
do you
makes
like? Has he ever said
because
anything about?
because they've had beef in the past. They've had some back and forth.
Dude,
Gaethje's
I would
doing the
love to see Conor
steroids.
talk shit against. I don't like Gaethje at all.
Oh, dude,
I'm gonna be
I
real. I
like
don't like Gaethje at
he's a
all. I've
nice.
never liked him.
He's like a nice guy, but I just think his like he's not like a very skilled fighter. He kind of just wins based off of just like power. You know,
But
like he
he's
hits like
talked
a truck.
shit, and people say he's a nice guy. He was talking shit going into the Charles fight, calling him a quitter and all this. Like he's always been a little bit of a. I feel like Gaethje's. I don't like the way he speaks about
He's
other
not a very
fighters. I
smart
honestly
guy.
don't.
He's not a
Like
very smart
because when
guy.
Gaethje talks shit about people, it's not like in a trash talking way. He's always dead serious, and I don't like that.
Yeah, he's also not a very
I
smart
think he's a
guy.
little bit. I think he has a stick up his ass. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
So
I
Gaethje, if
think
you see me, come at me. I'm just playing.
I think 170 Gaethje Conor is the fight to make. Ali is seems like he's
Bro,
interested
what
in the
about
fight too.
170? Okay, here, let's give our top three Connor
Yeah.
fights. Right
Okay.
now, for me, top three, it is, I would say Gaethje Connor. Then I would say Masvidal Connor. I think that's real. And then Hooker Connor.
I would say I don't like the Masvidal one as much right now. I don't because I think Masvidal would probably win that, and I think I want to see Conor win. So I think Gaethje at 170. I think Dan Hooker at 170, and I think he'd have a huge advantage over Hooker because Hooker fought at 145 recently. So I think at 170, Hooker would gas out real quick. Those two, and the third one, the third one's tough because Masvidal, I would like that fight, but at the same time, like I think he loses. So maybe Poirier 4.
No.
No,
Poirier destroys him, man. He destroys him,
at
bro.
172, you think?
Yes, dude. Poirier kills Conor McGregor. Like, I don't want to see that. Let's be honest, dude. Like, what do you think Conor's showing up as? The Conor
Yeah.
that showed up against Poirier, that was like in the rematch. That was a long time ago, bro.
That's almost 2 years ago.
And
Yeah.
and since then, he's only what has he been doing? He's had a leg break.
Yeah.
He got knocked out and then he broke his leg. He's been out. Like, he's not been getting better. Conor is not getting any better, bro.
No.
And this is what I'm gonna say. Like, I only think we're ever gonna see Conor fight 2 more times in the UFC. That's why I say things like Masvidal, because like, what are we waiting for? He's 34. He's only getting older. He's not getting better. He's only getting worse. You cannot possibly get better if you're shooting movies, out drinking at bars, like not like on yachts, also walking around with a broken leg for half the year.
I thought of something. What if Leon beats Usman?
I think, dude, but I think it could happen, but Conor would get killed, dude.
But like, would that not be a
no
banger?
chance to beat Leon, man. I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't think he does. But would that not be a banger?
It wouldn't, because like the thing is, I don't think there's anything entertaining about Conor going in there and getting destroyed or submitted
That's
in one
true.
round.
Oh, my third one, Tony Ferguson. I don't want to see it, but I think that's kind of realistic.
Hey, that's better than any. That's okay. Yeah. Like, you know, whatever. But I don't want to see Tony ever fight again. But whatever, I'll give you that.
But I just think those two guys, Hooker or Gaethje, I don't want to see him against Chandler. I know Chandler really wants that fight. He's been calling for the last 2 years. But I think Chandler, if he gets any sort of problem, he's going to shoot for a takedown. I just don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Conor against someone who's grappling because Conor, as we know, doesn't have the best takedown defense or grappling or wrestling. So I think Chandler would be able to kind of just take him down and like, beat him up there. So I don't want to see that. So I definitely want to see Gaethje number 1 and then Hooker number 2 and then number 3. I those are the kind of like the only two.
Not
But,
you never want to see him fight Masvidal because
I do want to see the
Conor
Masvidal.
doesn't have a lot of time left. Because think about it like this: if Conor comes back and gets knocked out, like you really think
he's not going to get knocked out by
6 months
Hooker.
later, a year later? He's like Conor McGregor takes years off. He's 34. He's not going to keep fighting that much. We're only going to see him fight a couple more times. I need to see the biggest fights and the most realistic fights. Gaethje, Hooker. And I don't want to see him. Masvidal's a big fight. That's why I still think he loses, but at least it's a big fight.
Yeah, I just
and
don't
Masvidal's
like,
also 38.
I just really think he's gonna lose. That's why I don't.
Then you never get to see it. But then you'll never make that fight.
Yeah,
and Masvidal still can be a draw.
But the thing is, though, is if Conor gets a win against Dan Hooker or Justin Gaethje, then you make the Masvidal fight because Masvidal will be a little older.
That's different, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Why you cannot give Conor a guy who's that dangerous because, like, as
I think Dan Hooker
only gonna fight. Gaethje. If Conor McGregor loses, he's not fighting within the next year.
Actually,
you might take another 2 years off.
Number 3, I want to see Charles. Number 3, Charles. Actually,
I mean that's interesting, but I just still like. What if he gets submitted?
I don't see Charles taking him down because Charles creates. Look, just think of it. He created the submission against Gaethje because he knocked him down. He submitted him.
He submitted Dustin by he submitted
Dustin. I think that was a little bit different. I think Dustin made a.
He took his back on the feet.
I think Conor has a real chance of knocking out Charles. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying? I think, especially make them fight at 170.
Charles might not want to fight at 170. Like,
well, then
how does that make sense if Charles fights at 170?
But then he'll miss the fight. You know, I'm like he won't.
I know. I understand that. I understand that. But here's the thing: Charles Oliveira, like he's ragdolled Tony Ferguson. Like he's a good wrestler. He remember he was on top of Poirier for all of the second round. Like I don't get the idea that Charles. Like I'm not going to start thinking of Charles as someone who. Like, first of all, how does Charles get his submissions? Like, are we just going to act like he just out of nowhere gets them? Like, he gets guys down. He gets guys in positions. He's really good at it.
He also gets hit,
he submits Conor easily.
He gets hit, though.
He does get hit. But again, he's getting hit by guys that are much more skilled who are also threatening takedowns.
Justin Gaethje wasn't threatening takedown.
He wasn't threatening a takedown, and look at how good Oliveira looked
against him. But Gaethje knocked him down twice before that. How did we know that?
Guess what? Why did he win? Because Gaethje wasn't willing to jump on him, where Islam was. That's the difference. These guys aren't like he was getting knocked down against Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje, but they didn't jump on him because they were afraid. And Conor McGregor is not going to jump on him and submit him like Islam. That's why Islam is so dangerous, because if Islam knocks you down, he's right on you. And that's the thing. It's like Conor might knock him down, but like, what if it reaches the second round? Oliveira's tough. He's going to take a lot of time off. Like, you know what I mean? So I want, here's the thing. Conor's only going to fight a couple more times. I can't just see, okay, give Conor this tough guy and see what happens, and then he'll make a quick 6-month turnaround. That's not how he operates. Conor McGregor loses. We don't see him for another 2 years. By then, he'll be 38.
Oh, if Conor loses, I think it's over for him.
That's what I mean. It's already over.
But that's why
you have to give him winnable fights. You have to.
But that's why I don't know about the Masvidal fight. It's because
I understand. I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think it's a big fight.
I have a question. Who do you think is a better chance of Conor winning against, Oliveira or Masvidal? Because I think Oliveira is a better chance of beating.
I honestly, I'm gonna be real. I think he has a better chance of beating Masvidal because it's gonna be a stand-up fight 100%.
But Masvidal is just bigger and like
he is bigger. But the thing is,
and he's
tough. The thing is, if it gets out of the first round with Masvidal, Conor still has a chance. If it gets around to the first round with Oliveira, Conor starts to get tired. Oliveira finds some kind of way to take his back. Oliveira could take him down.
Yeah.
He could.
I don't know if he takes him down right away, but as
Oliveira is not the kind of guy who's just made a pact to I'm gonna stand with him. Like Oliveira wants to submit and get the win.
Oh yeah,
So like
I think the thing about
I'm not just gonna look at Islam's win over Oliveira and discount him. Like I really think Oliveira still destroys a Conor McGregor right now. And he's gonna take time off and that'll refresh his chin.
I just think that Islam is Charles. No, Charles is hittable though, so I think
that's very. I think Conor would knock him down. In the first round. I think he would.
But who knows if that puts his lights out? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think Conor has that power anymore at lightweight.
But like everybody was knocking Charles down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know, but the thing is, Conor didn't knock Dustin down in the rematch. Like Conor has power.
But Dustin hasn't gotten knocked down ever, or like he did.
He's got knocked out.
Yeah, but he like never. He's got a really good chin. You know what I'm saying? He got knocked out by Michael.
Of course, he's got a very good chin.
Dustin's got a really good chin though, so like you don't really see him getting knocked down like that.
He knocked down Justin Gaethje.
Dustin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Oliveira did, but not Oliveira.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Charles would maybe be a more winnable fight, but that point, like, if it keeps going past the first round or goes to the second round, third round.
Let's just say Hooker's probably the best. Like, let's be real.
Hooker or Gaethje. I really think
Hooker or Gaethje, fine.
Hooker and
Gaethje is sloppy. That's a good fight.
Gaethje, and also I think the buildup would be good. You know, I think Conor would talk a lot of shit to him.
Honestly, why can't they just do Conor versus like Jared Gordon, man? Like, come on, we don't care if they have a name. Just get him in there.
But Gaethje, I really think he could beat Gaethje though. That's the thing. Like, I think that's a.
How do you think Conor versus Jared Gordon goes?
I think Conor would smoke him. You know what I mean?
Like, why not? Why not? Like, here's the thing. Why not give Conor these? Like, why not give Conor, you know, what you just did for Pimblett? Let him start his career over. Like, imagine how cool this would be. Conor McGregor knockout Jared Gordon. 2 months later, he knocks out the guy that Paddy Pimblett knocked out in his first fight. Like, you know, give him these guys that are barely ranked.
But Conor won't come back in 2 months, though. That's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but the thing is, if he knocks someone out early, Conor's the kind of guy who's like, all right, let's keep the ball rolling. Good business. Like, we want to see another run. And you can only make another run if you put him up against Cans. I'm going to make a video called Conor McGregor needs to fight Cans now. And this is like... I want to see him fight Cans.
I just don't see him doing quick turnarounds anymore, no matter what. You know,
I mean, I don't. But remember, when he fought Poirier for the first time, he was saying, "I want to fight 3-4 times this year."
But
he fought twice that year.
That though, you know, I'm like,
I know, but my point is, if he had won that, I guarantee you he would have fought again in the summer. And he would have fought, and if he won that fight, if he won a fight in the summer, he would have fought again in the fall. And that's how you have one of the biggest years ever as Conor. You get 3 wins in 1 year. That's a huge year.
Yeah. So, I mean, what if, but like, I want to see the Gaethje though, because I really, like, I think that would be would be a great win for Conor. Like, imagine if he beats Gaethje. Like, that
also, I don't know if, I also get the sense that Conor doesn't want to fight guys that he doesn't like. Like, I feel like Conor doesn't, because you know how much money these guys make by fighting him.
Yeah.
I don't think Conor likes Gaethje, and I think he thinks it would be giving him a favor. So maybe he's not going to want to fight.
So does he like Hooker? You think?
I think why would he have a problem with him? You know?
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, Hooker at 170.
Yeah, I like Hooker.
That's the fight to make. Hooker McGregor, UFC 287.
Yeah,
it can happen. UFC.
I think Conor would be man, like honestly, I really, if I'm the UFC, I know it would offend him, but I would say, listen, like, we have a plan to have the biggest year in UFC history. You're gonna fight 3 times. We're gonna put you in with guys that are the best possible matchups ever, and they're all not ranked, but it doesn't matter, because if you get 3 KOs this year, the biggest year ever for the UFC. I'm doing that. Like, who doesn't want to see Conor?
I don't think Conor would do that though, because I think Conor wants.
He wouldn't do it.
You know,
he wouldn't do it.
He's too competitive.